Jeremy, why'd you make this?
Because, I mean, look, we're the same age, and there was something about this moment in time. For me, this remains the most thrilling, with the possible exception of the Miracle on Ice and, a couple of things as a New York sports fan that have occurred over the years, the most thrilling thing I've ever seen in sports, and certainly one of the most unexpected. Mike Tyson, as you well know, was a colossus. He was the biggest star in sports. Nobody thought Buster Douglas had a chance, and there's nothing bigger in sports than the heavyweight championship. You could say it's been diminished in the last couple of generations. The Klitschko's kind of ran away with them to Europe, and we didn't see them for a while. But the heavyweight title is still something of mythic significance in sports. And Buster Douglas became the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, the lineal champion, the man who, beat the man who beat the man who beat the man all the way back to John L. Sullivan in the biggest upset in sports history. And he didn't do it with luck. It wasn't a fluke. As you know, you interviewed Buster last week. This was a 10-round ass-kicking. And the 1 second in the fight that he wasn't really dominating, the 8th round, he gets floored by a Tyson uppercut, which would have ended the fight. Any of Tyson's previous 37 fights. He gets up off the canvas after getting rocked like that, and 7 or 8 minutes later, he's the heavyweight champion of the world. There's no other story like it, and yet I don't think people really know the Buster Douglas story. We know the Mike Tyson story. Nobody's told the Mike Tyson story more than I have, frankly, over the last 20 years. And this is Buster's story. This is about the guy who won the fight.
And we did speak to him last week, and just, give me your favorite story that you learned through this about Buster Douglas that you didn't know already going in, Jeremy.
I mean, there's a lot there. I mean, in terms of a story, and I think one of the things, if I may say so, and the credit really does go to our friend Ben Hauser. He really did all the work here. One of the things that the film does well is weave these stories together with different voices, telling a full story. And one of those stories is after the fight is made, and Buster gets his shot at Mike Tyson, and he sees it as this remarkable opportunity, his second title shot in the heavyweight division, to win that crown. His mother, Lula Pearl Douglas, asks his father, who had been a great prize fighter himself, Bill Douglas, about this Mike Tyson guy. Is he really as scary as everybody says? And Bill Douglas says, yeah, he really is. And so she goes to Buster's house that night to talk him out of fighting Mike Tyson. We're talking about, a guy who was, a heavyweight contender. He was the number 2 contender at the time. I think the IBS number 2 contender. Maybe he'd even moved up to number 1 at that point. He's a guy who fought for the heavyweight title before. He's from a boxing family. He and his brothers are heavyweights. His father's a middleweight light heavy. And his mother goes to his house to tell him, you can't fight this guy. He's too scary. And he says to his mom, no. Don't be worried about me. Be worried about that guy. You can't make this stuff up. And you know what? It turned out Buster was right.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.